What is up, guys? My name is Lex. Every video I normally post is just straight to the poker room. I don't even really do many intros anymore, but today's video is going to be just a little bit different. There will be poker, it'll be around this mark, but before we get into that, I want to do somewhat of a behind the scenes or a day in the life kind of thing, what I do before poker, during a poker session, and after a poker session, kind of more of like an actual vlog. So anyway, it is Thursday, October 27th, around 1:30 p.m. and me and this guy just woke up. And I know, 1 p.m. wake up call on a Thursday, somewhat late. Well, I play poker fairly late. I have a later work schedule than most people. I don't wake up sometimes till 12, 1, 2 p.m. because I'm working pretty late. I think that's the best time to play poker. I don't think playing poker at 11 a.m. or 1 p.m. is the most profitable time, so I like to come in a little bit later and play a little bit later. But it is time for some breakfast. I'm gonna share with you guys what I'm eating. We've got 3 eggs, bagel, cinnamon raisin bagel, and bacon. Basically, I've been having the same breakfast for like the last 8 years, so gonna enjoy this and let you guys know what else is going on today. Currently watching this guy win $230,000 in one session. Also, if you don't let your dog lick your plate after you're done, are you really a dog owner? Go ahead. There you go. Yeah, he loves that. I think that's the best part of his morning. Walk time. Walk time. Go, 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 go. Go, go, go. So of course, gotta take little Rogue for a walk. It is beautiful weather right now. Coming in on winter time in South Florida, the best time of year down here. In the summer, it's like 100 degrees with 80% humidity. Right now, every day it's like 75 degrees with hardly any humidity. It's just perfect. But today's plans, I don't know why I said that so weird. Today's plans are I'm gonna go to Fort Lauderdale Beach, about 20 minutes east from me, and I'm gonna try to run 4 miles. I'm not a good runner. I'm pretty slow. My body's not meant for running, but I'm gonna try to do it, so we'll see. Well, I may have picked the absolute worst time to come to Fort Lauderdale Beach. The boat show is here this weekend, so it is just jammed packed, full of people, no parking. I guess we're running bad today, a little bit of run bad. Normally on a Thursday at 3 o'clock, there'd be tons of parking, but it's just packed because of this Fort Lauderdale boat show. All right, that wasn't as bad as I thought. I found a spot in about 5 minutes, and it's $16 for 3 hours. Not too bad. Beautiful, beautiful views back here. Time to try to run 4 miles. All right, halfway. One thing I noticed is the first 10 minutes of my run, all the people on the beach were men wearing very tight spandex shorts. And they all kept staring at me as I walked or ran by. So I Googled it, and it turns out I just ran by Fort Lauderdale Gay Beach. No problem with that, but I just wish now I wore a shirt. Back at the apartment now, ran 4 miles in just over 40 minutes. Not too fast of a pace, but honestly, I was just trying to get through it. I haven't ran 4 miles without stopping in maybe like 3 years. Little buddy Rogue right here. Fort Lauderdale Beach in general was just super nice, much nicer in my opinion than Miami Beach. So it's nice that I only live like 20 minutes away. The boat show created so much traffic though. Took me almost an hour to get home, but it is 6:35 p.m. right now. Just took a shower, just got ready. We are finally getting ready to head over to the Hard Rock to play some poker hands. I did forget to share with you guys what I ate for lunch. I had 1 rice packet, tuna can, and some yogurt, and Rogue got to eat as well. I need 4,000.
Raise. Raise.
With a late position cutoff open to $35, King Jack in the small blind seems like a hand I could 3-bet, so I put in a raise to $150, back over to the cutoff, and he makes a call. We see an ace-8-3 board with 2 spades. I put out a 1/3 pot size bet, and he folds. I straddle from the under the gun position, and there's a cutoff raise to 75. I defend with pocket 7s and see a flop of Jack 8-5 rainbow. I check, and he checks back. Turn card Jack of clubs, bringing in a flush draw. I check again over to my opponent, and now he puts out a bet of $100. After the flop goes check check, and then the initial raiser puts out a bet of $100 once the top card pairs, I think this is a spot where we can call one time and evaluate here on the river, or we could go with a funky play and put in a raise. Now get behind me guys, his range is pretty much capped, meaning that he can't really have too strong of a hand on this board the way he's played this hand. We can assume that he'd be betting all of his top pairs on the flop, probably be betting his pocket 8s or pocket 5s. So once he checks back the flop, I think the best hand he can have here is a hand like an 8, maybe pocket 9s, pocket 10s, and he can have a lot of bluffs as well. I check raise here to $350. Basically, this is a merge play. I can get called by worse hands like flush draws, overcards like queen 10, 6-7 for a straight draw, and I can also sometimes get him to fold out a better hand like pocket 9s, pocket 10s, or an 8. He decides to make the call, so we're probably going to have to fire a big bet here on the river. And the last card is the deuce of clubs. Backdoor flush does get there, so it is a little bit concerning. If I put out a big bet here on the river, I'm going to be representing a flush or a full house, and I'm going to go for it. Not going to check this one back here. I decide to throw out a $1,000 river bet. If he somehow trapped us by checking back on the flop with a strong hand, we're just going to lose, but he folds very quickly, and we end up taking this one down. The speed at which he folded there on the river, he probably didn't have a pair, so he may have been bluffing with the best hand, which sometimes happens. Moving on to the next hand here, where I'm on the button with a beautiful suited connector. I raise it up to $75. The big blind makes the call, who's the only recreational player at the table, and we flop the joint on 3-4-7 with 1 spade. Obviously, the best hand possible here. I throw out a pretty big bet of $105, and he very quickly makes the call, turns an ace, a decent card, but obviously not the best card because if he has a pair underneath the ace, it could be a scare card for him. However, maybe he'll have an ace high hand that he was floating with on the flop. I bet big 350 bucks and he folds. Most of the best players in the room who play poker for a living gravitate towards the highest stakes in the room, and today 510 is the biggest game running right now. And at my table, there is 7 other professional players, including me, and 1 recreational player, so not the best lineup, so I decided to take a little dinner break. Taking a break. Taking a dinner break.
As Alex and the guy.
If I wait.
Get to see the more straight up answer.
A nice little thing they do here at the Hard Rock is they give you $2 per hour for comp dollars, and today I used all of my comp dollars to buy a nice chicken marsala dinner from Suppresso Italian restaurant. I'm back at the table now, full belly, but over the next hour and a half I really don't pick up that many playable hands, and I don't win a pot for almost 2 hours. Getting somewhat frustrated trying to make something happen here. The straddle's on in this hand and it folds all the way to the small blind, who raises to $75. With 10-7 suited, I decide to 3-bet bluff here, thinking that I can just take this one down a lot of the time. I make it 250 bucks. Back over to the big blind, who is somewhat of a short stack, and he cold calls my re-raise, and the small blind folds. Definitely not the situation we were looking for. Hopefully we could either go heads up in position, but getting cold called out of the straddle and playing out of position is not what we were looking to see. But on an ace 8-3 board with 1 spade, I like to bet $175, representing hands like aces, ace king, ace queen. My opponent makes a pretty quick call, and the turn is the ace of diamonds. So sometimes here we could give up and check, and other times we can continue to bet. I should have all the strong aces in my range. I don't think he's going to be cold calling many 3-bets with an ace-x hand, so I continue for a smaller size bet according to the size of the pot. I bet $300. The under the gun player snap calls $300 with just about $900 left in his stack, and this tells me one thing: I just don't think he has trip aces here. If he had trip aces, I think he would take a little bit longer with his decision, probably contemplate raising all in or just thinking over the hand a little bit more. Once he snap calls this bet, I put him on a club flush draw or maybe a smaller pocket pair like pocket 10s, pocket 9s, maybe pocket jacks. Going here to the final card, which is the Jack of Hearts. So the front door flush does miss. Obviously now pocket jacks is a full house, but all these hands he could have pre-flop, like an 8, pocket 9s, pocket 10s, even pocket queens, could be put into a tough spot. I could check and give up and most likely always lose this pot with 10 high, or I could continue to tell the story that I have a big hand. He's got $900 left. Let's go for it. I put out a bet of $1,200 covering him. After sliding out all of these black chips, I think to myself, man, this could be a huge punt, but we don't get snap called, which is great. Now the waiting game is on, and honestly, I would rather him just really fast call or really fast fold. Having to sit here for over a minute while he tanks and thinks over his options is just painful. The more he's thinking, the more my heart rate is increasing, but I actually feel like he's going to fold. So far today, he's made some pretty big laydowns. I think this is his only buy-in, so I don't think he wants to risk it. And a hand he doesn't feel too comfortable with, and after over a minute and 50 seconds of thinking, he decides to fold. He later told me he had a pair, so we end up getting this one through with 10 high. At this table, we've had a tough time keeping the mandatory $25 straddle under the gun on the entire time, but for this orbit, it is on, and I'm in the under the gun $25 straddle. The button raises to $60. With Jack 10 of diamonds, I could 3-bet, but this player has a short stack, seems relatively tight, so I just make the call. King 10 deuce 1 diamond. With second pair, I check, and he throws out a very small bet. He bets $35, and I do think against this sizing, sometimes I could check raise, but on this particular board, King 10 deuce, he's just going to have all the strongest hands like kings and 10s, and I really can't have those hands very often, so I just decide to call, and we go to the turn, which is the 9 of spades. Does give me a gut shot straight draw. I check, and he very quickly checks back. River 4 of spades, I check, he checks, and Jack 10 is good. This hand there's no straddle on, and there's an early position raised to $50 by a recreational player. She has about $1,000 in her stack. The button, a good reg, makes to call, and with king queen in the small blind, I do think I could get rid of this hand versus two tough players, but against a recreational player who should be playing fairly face up, I think a call is fine. I also think a re-raise is good if she had more money, but given the fact she only has $1,000, I elect to call and just try to play some post-flop. We completely miss on 8-5 deuce with two spades. I check over to the initial raiser from under the gun, and she puts out a small bet of $50. The button pretty quickly makes the call for $50, and the action's back over on me, and I immediately think to myself, man, I don't feel like anybody is strong in this hand. If the under the gun player had an overpair or a flush draw, I think she'd be betting bigger than 1/3 size of the pot. I don't think she can be connecting too hard with this board with sets or two pairs. I think she'd be limping pocket fives or pocket deuces. So basically, I think the best hand she can have here is pocket eights. Once the button doesn't raise on the flop, he shouldn't have too much either. So I think to myself, what would Garrett Adelstein do here if he sensed weakness? Well, he would probably put in a raise, so that is what I do. I make it $265 here, just praying nobody has anything. We have complete air with king high, and also the good thing about playing like Garrett Adelstein is if I raise here and double her up, I could just ask her for the money back afterwards, and she has to give it to me. So the action's back over on the under the gun player, and she's counting out her chips. I'm praying she doesn't go all in or call. This could be another one of those big punts, but luckily she folds, and the button folds as well. We haven't got dealt in any big pairs yet today, but that changes when I get the queen of clubs, queen of diamonds from the under the gun position. I raise it up and get 4 callers, and I win a small pot when the flop comes out ace high. Again, I get pocket queens and win another small pot, and after about 5 hours of playing, I end up calling it a night. Not too bad of a day. It's around 1 a.m. now. You guys have been with me since 1 p.m. earlier on today. Played about 5 hours here at the Hard Rock. It was 510, 510.25. Ended up profiting $1,800 tonight. Didn't really make any huge hands or play any massive pots, but I got 2 or 3 big bluffs through. One with pocket sevens, the other bluff with 10-7 of spades and a 3-bet pot. And then the last one, I did like a little bluff with king-queen offsuit on that 8-high board, but everything just went my way today. You know, it was an easy day of poker, profiting $1,800. Normally, this is when the video would end, but like I said, I'm gonna take you guys with me, and we're not done yet. We're not going to sleep yet, so heading home now, and we'll see what else happens. So I mentioned this earlier this morning that I normally play later in the evening. I don't wake up till 12 or 1 because I go to bed fairly late. My reasoning behind that is because I think the best games are in the evening. Feels like that's when people are gambling the most. That's when people are maybe drinking, they're tilted. The stacks seem to be a little bit bigger in the evening as well. And I just think it's the best time to play. I have a new strategy now compared to what it's been in the past years. Before I started a vlog, I was playing like 8 or 9 hours a day, 5 days a week probably, maybe a little over 40 hours a week. Now that I have the vlog and I don't need to play as many hours every single week, I'm trying to play the best games possible. So I try to go in when I think the games are the best, which is usually like 6 or 7 p.m., sometimes a little bit later. And then if the game goes bad, I just leave and I go home. In the past, I've sat in these kind of bad games for hours and hours, and I'm trying not to do that as much lately. I'm trying to play better games against, more recreational players, and if the game's bad, I leave, go home. If the game's good, I stay all night. So I think 2 weeks ago, I played poker till like 6 a.m., because the game was amazing. Haven't done that probably in years. I did show you guys like what I eat or what I ate today. Breakfast, lunch, and then dinner. I was not trying to like showcase that I eat like super clean or super healthy. I don't have like a specific diet. I just kind of eat whatever I want. Relatively, I like to eat somewhat healthier foods. but like I'm not like a health freak, I'm not a diet freak or anything like that. But it is 1 a.m. and I have a big weakness for chocolate. So I'm out of chocolate at my apartment, so we're gonna make a pit stop here before we get home. We're gonna stop at CVS and I'm gonna get me some Hershey bar chocolate, much needed after that 5-hour session and after that 4-mile run today. I can almost taste the chocolate bars now. Where is it? There it is, right there. My baby, get in my belly. Shit, there's a fucking rip in this one. Can't have that. No rip. I don't drink very often. I don't do drugs, but chocolate? I could eat all 6 of those Hershey bars in probably 30 minutes. I have to keep myself from overdoing it, but my birthday is coming up November 1st, and if you guys want to get me a present, Hershey chocolate bars. Hershey chocolate bars, one of my favorite things on the planet Earth, and I'm definitely addicted to them, that's for sure. And something I'm also addicted to is the puppy. Hey, hey. Up. Hey. Okay, good boy. Wow. Sit. Good boy. 188,000 pot. Woo. I remember watching Rampage's vlogs when I first started playing poker. He was grinding the 1-3 games, man. That's freaking crazy. Now he's playing $188,000 pots. Well, pretty sick. I like Rampage and Wesley. I think they're both great for the game. Hopefully one day I could get to that level. That'd be fun to play in those big games. I think the biggest thing when it comes to high stakes is just getting yourself into the game. Like, just being good enough socially to get yourself into these games. Like, Rampage has now gotten himself into these sickest games. Like how Garrett has found a way to get himself into the games because he's so exciting to watch. I gotta start doing something, man. I have a vlog with 50,000 people, but you know, I think that's good. That can get me into some games. Maybe I gotta start playing with like bunny ears on my head or like showing my tits or something. I don't know. I gotta find a way to get into these big games. They're pretty sick. Right up. Come on up. Last walk of the day for little Rogie. Getting his exercise in. I've been back here in Florida now for about 3 weeks since I was in Vegas. I didn't really grind too much poker when I was in Vegas, but since I've been back here the last 3 weeks, I've just been grinding like 5-6 days a week playing poker, 4 to 8 hour days, and it's been going pretty good. I'm on like a 15K upswing this month. Last month, I won $15,000 just playing poker, and I've been experimenting with things, trying to work on bet sizings and experimenting with bluffing and, you know, just trying to work on my game a little bit, and I feel like it's working. Maybe it's because I'm running good, but it feels better, and I want to continue to kind of like push the limit, try to not just be an ABC reg, try to, you know, play some good, solid, tough poker, try to continue to move up in the stakes as well. But normally at this time of night, I'll call my dad who lives in Iowa, who's an hour behind me, and I'll talk to him for a while. So I'll probably do that, and I'm probably going to go to sleep a little bit earlier tonight. It's 2 a.m. right now, and I'm pretty exhausted. It's been a long day. Ready? Go. This is his exercise. Come on. Hopefully he doesn't wake anybody up. It's 2:45. Come on. Go, go, go. All right, it's 3:15 a.m. After a couple candy bars, I was still hungry, so I got myself a midnight snack, a 3 a.m. snack, an egg and cheese sandwich. One thing that I have been watching a lot lately, and I find it quite interesting, are these First Amendment auditors on YouTube. So basically what these guys do is they go into any public accessible area like a courthouse, a post office, a city hall, and they just record people. And of course, people start like freaking out because they're like, why are you recording me? So they call the cops. The cops come up and they're not breaking any laws. Your First Amendment right to freedom of press. And you can film wherever you want because they call themselves the press because they make YouTube videos. But they're basically just looking for reactions. And I find it extremely entertaining.
This is not a courthouse building. This is the Denison building. This is
like this guy he just goes in and argues with the law enforcement and there's nothing they can do because he's not breaking any rules. It's freaking crazy.
I see what you're saying, but I don't need their permission.
It's pretty wild.
To be honest, I'm not in any room.
Basically, the guy's just looking for he's just looking for reactions. It's kind of funny. But you know, you can make a living on anything on YouTube lately. But that's going to be it for this one. A little bit of a different video for you guys. Showed you guys, you know, when I wake up, what I eat for breakfast, took Rogue on a walk, went over to the beach, 4-mile run, came back, took Rogue on another walk, ate some lunch, went to Hard Rock, played a 5-hour session, ate a nice dinner at Suppresso Italian restaurant, won $1,800, went to CVS, got some chocolate, came back here, another walk, egg sandwich, YouTube, Rampage went in a big pot. It's a long day. It's 3:15 a.m. I'm tired. It's time to go to sleep. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think about this vlog style of video. A little bit of a different day in the life kind of thing, behind the scenes. I'm not going to do this all the time, but I thought it'd be kind of interesting to switch it up a little bit. But that's it for this one. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Until next time, I'll see ya.